Good morning. Welcome to everyone in the room to Seattle Unity Sunday service. Please stand as you are able. Today's theme is the roots of unity. So I'm going to be singing a bunch of older songs. They don't feel older because I remember them from when I was younger. So I have weird associations, but this one is Day by Day. It's from Godspell. Isn't that some long, long ago time? If you're young and you don't know this song, imagine you're going to camp with your cousin and you're just learning all their camp songs. It goes like this. Day by day, day by day, oh dear Lord, three things I pray. See thee more clearly, to love thee more dearly, and follow thee more nearly, day by day. Good, let it move. Day by day, yeah, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray. Yeah, see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. Let's clap and see what happens. Day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray, See thee more clearly, day by day. Love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly, day by day. Let us pray.
And so we take a moment to call in the presence and the power and the activity of God through our opening statement, which is, there is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
So you can feel it took you about 3 verses to get to sort of like that level of wakefulness. See if you can like push it a little bit more. We're going to do it in like a single measure, like 4 beats. Ready? 1, 2, 3, up! Day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, three things I pray. See thee more clearly, love thee more dearly. Go back to see. See thee more clearly and love thee more dearly. Back to see once more. See thee more clearly and love thee more dear. Now follow thee more nearly, day by day by day. Nice job. Please be seated.
Good morning, and welcome to Seattle Unity, both in-house and at home. We are celebrating the ordination of Reverend Diane Robertson today. It's been a long 5 years. It's been a long and winding road, and so we are very happy to celebrate this day today with her. So let's join together with our vision statement, which is, we are an accessible and inclusive spiritual sanctuary for all ages and stages of life. We offer spiritual practices and a community that honors diversity and encourages self-empowerment. We co-create a world that works for all. Can I get an amen?
Yes, you can.
All right. So if you're at home and you would like prayers following the service, please type your prayer names in the chat box. And for those of us in the room, there are prayer request forms up there on the counter. You can fill those out, and we will also not only bless them today, but hold them throughout the week. couple of announcements. One, it is Outreach Sunday, and we like to give back to the community of Seattle. And so Mike Brennan is here, over here. He's ready to collect any funds that you would like to give to the outreach team, and or you can text it at 206-350-8448 and just type in outreach after that. And now James Tierney has an announcement.
Thank you, Karen. I'm here to talk about a quantum living course I'm offering beginning tomorrow evenings. It's 6 Mondays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And the reason I like to offer it, I'm excited about this. In Unity, we learn about the presence and the power and how to live that and how to display that in our lives. But sometimes we get tripped up. We feel like the world is going wrong. We feel like a victim. We feel like blaming people. We get angry. And where does this come from? This is disempowered, fragmented parts of ourselves sort of lurking in our psyche that we've disowned. And what we learn in quantum living is to find these parts of ourselves and re-own them, reconnect with them, so that we can, nowadays, I used to get anxious, and I'm like, oh no, what am I afraid of? And now I'm like, oh, where's that anxiety comes from? Come here, little anxiety. And it's transformed my relationship. And I welcome you guys to come. If Monday doesn't work, email me. My information's on the Seattle Unity events page, ReverendJamesTierney@gmail. But it'll be great. It'll be fun. I welcome you to come or to find out what's up. Thank you. Oh, thank you. The class is on Zoom. And when you go to the events page, you'll get the Zoom link. And talk to me, actually, if you're sure you want to take it, because I have the book. We can rush you the book, or I can hand it to you. Thanks.
Nice. Thank you, James. Okay, so now we have our announcements on screen for at home and for those in the room. Oh, geez, Diane. I'm forgetting Diane's ordination celebration. Yikes. Okay, Diane, come forward. And I'd like to invite Dahlia Cohen to come up as a representative of our board. She's our board president. So in John 15:16, we read, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit, fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Spirit will give you." So you have been ordained by Unity Worldwide Ministries on June 13th, 2022. And this has been a long 5-year process, because not only were you attending classes and all that entails and all the papers that you had to write, but you cared for Seattle Unity through the chaplain program, the prayer program, the staff, and the numerous thousands other things that you do. You have been a leader and a key figure in this building project, of which we wouldn't be able to do without you. Amen. And you continually amaze me with your ability to handle multiple tasks with diligence, intelligence, patience, and compassion. And this has not gone unnoticed by our community. And so I wanted to share with you a few blessings from our members. Faith Ireland said, "Diane, in addition to being an associate minister, you also had so many duties related to the building project, as Karen did. And hopefully you will both get back to having one job, minister." Christina Lee writes, "There is no greater honor than to serve others through the calling to serve God through your own evolving ministry. As a minister, your most important role is to diligently continue your own practices and to grow and evolve spiritually. This will be reflected in how you are, and others will benefit from the ways you share your journey. Diane, I wish you the very best in your future ministry." Colleen Hart. I would like to thank Diane for her steadfast kindness and dedication to her ministerial path. She is an inspiration and light to the world at a time when it is so much needed. May the blessings she shares with others shower down upon her in her ministry and in her life. Marcia Rattan. Big hugs, Diane. Congratulations on completing this powerful journey. May all the hard work, learning, and inspiration of the past 5 years flower into surprising and wonderful new possibilities. You inspire me, and you are a blessing to the whole community. And Carl, I have felt so well served by your works at Seattle Unity. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your leadership, your compassionate listening, your warm smile, and your warrior spirit. Blessings to you and gratitude for all the blessings you have showered on the church in general and on me. So for those of us in the room, I want to let you know there are cards on the table over there. You're welcome to write a word of blessing to her. And also we're gathering funds for a travel fund so that she can go on a sabbatical. Well deserved. If you're at home, I invite you to type in the chat box any blessings that you have. And we do have a few gifts for you before your official installation. So Kathleen Balkin, would you come forward on behalf of the chaplains? She has a gift for you.
Oh, good. Hey, Diane. We are so grateful Diane, we are so grateful as chaplains for all you've done for us and for everyone. And this is a symbol of something we'd love you to wear. We'd like you to open it, and it matches something that you already have on your arm. And ironically, yesterday, a blue one flew right in front of me. I've never seen one in a year.
You all didn't know that I'm the type that's very slow and I'll try to just rip. I'll just try to rip. You can do it.
It goes on and on. It's very special. Many blessings to you from all of us.
So Diane has a dragonfly tattoo on her arm, and it was a symbol that came to her like 15 years ago. Yeah. So the other gift we have for you is this picture, which Diane served in the Peace Corps in Africa many, many years ago. And she said that she found this there and that she bought a little card of it and then just has carried it with her forever. We were at an art show, and the artist was there. We saw this. And so in some ways, I don't know if the camera can go and focus on it much, but it's a woman who's like throwing her child, in a good way. And it's like she's giving her child to the universe. That's what I see when I look at it. And so in this way, it's as if you are being set free to do your ministry and to be blessed and to bless others. Thank you. So let me hold that there. Dahlia has flowers. Actually, you don't need to hold those right now. You have a lot to hold. It's like Christmas. So I'd like the congregation to stand as we do the official installation. So Diane, as an ordained Unity minister, do you accept Unity principles and promise to adhere to them and make them the basis of your teaching? Do you promise to hold sacred space and lovingly listen to your spiritual community and hold in confidence all that you hear? Will you articulate an awareness of the need for self-care by designing, implementing, and maintaining a plan for your life of regular renewal? And to our community and the congregation, will you, the members of this Seattle Unity community, accept, support, and uphold Reverend Diane Robertson?
We will.
Thank you. Will you support one another and this community with a spirit of loving kindness and compassion?
We will.
So on behalf of Unity Worldwide Ministries and by the community of Seattle Unity, we bless your ordination. So, Reverend Diane Robertson, we bless you as your ministry unfolds before you. We stand behind you in all your endeavors, and we surround you with our love. For you did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you may go and bear fruit. And the closing prayer was written by the Brennans. Diane, may you find great joy, energy, and love in all that you do as a Unity minister. Know that you are always a blessing through your service. May you always hold the longer vision, letting your imagination, hope, and creativity make it possible to realize your potential while also giving attention to the details of the moment. We see you aware and in touch with what you need in each moment, giving freely of yourself, being sure to pay attention to the nurturing of your own well-being. And so may we all say together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ light that you are together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ light that you are. Let's give her a round of applause. And now we see the announcements and we greet one another.
When you're ready, make your way towards a place in the room. Hello, Durans. A place in the room where you can sway, move, snap. And because our theme today is Roots of Unity, we took this really old song that used to be in our hymnal, and we set like this 1940s, like Andrew's Sisters thing going on to it. So I'm going to invite you to learn the tune if you don't know this tune already. And if you already know it, then just have a listen to my friend Tim Clements Levin as he teaches it to us.
unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now.
Good. Everybody, let's go. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free, I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free, I am unlimited right now. All right, that was good. And because this one has that 1940s like, hi, soldier sort of feeling, we're going to do a little scat verse. We were doing it this morning. Olivia about cracked up and she said, oh my God, Aaron, you're so white. And I'm like, wow, big newsflash. But do your best version of a Scooby-Doo. I don't know, Mitch, what's a good... Doobie-doobie-doo. Doobie-doobie. So scat syllables are any kind of thing that occurs to you. So you can skiddly-dop, doobab, whatever. I mean, try to stay within the realms of not shocking. Give me another syllable.
Zweebity-da.
Oh, I like that one.
Zweebity-da.
Zweebity-da. It sounds a little bit like it's, deli. I would like a pound of zweebity-da. All right. 1, 2, 3. Ba-do-do-da-do-da, do-da-da, ba-do-do-da, do-da-do-da, ba-do-do-da. That's awesome. Do it again. Ba-do-do-da, do-da, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Ba-do-do-da, do-da, do-ba-do-do-da-da. Nice. I am free. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited right now, right now. I am free. I am unlimited. There are no chains that bind me. I am free. I am unlimited. When? Right now. Yes. Woo! Please be seated. As you're getting settled, we're going to move into a more contemplative part of the service. I'm going to let James come up. He's going to get ready for a reading. And this is a good moment. I'm going to tell you, that's not David with a new haircut. This is Michael Matlock. He's a first-time keys substitute. Michael, and this is Christina Brewer, and she is our guest today. And when you're ready, and James, can you do me a favor and can you move that over to, right there is good. And then if you want to pull it back, it just helps him a little bit more. Good. Thank you very much.
So we're talking about the roots of unity. And Emily Cady is one of Unity's earliest superstars. She wrote her first best-selling book in the 1880s, sold way over 1 million copies. And this is a quote from How I Use Truth by Emily Cady. We must all recognize that it was the Christ within that made Jesus what he was. And our power now to help ourselves and to help others lies in our comprehending the truth, for it is the truth whether we realize it or not, that the same Christ lives within us that lived in Jesus. It is a part of himself which God has put within us, whichever lives there, with an inexpressible love and desire to spring to the circumference of our being or to our consciousness as our sufficiency in all things. So we are sufficient in all things. This is enoughness. We don't need to claw for more. We don't need to feel lack. We have sufficiency. Thank you.
Thank you, James. So we're moving now into the most contemplative part of the service. There'll be a meditation inside that. That's about 3-4 minutes. And Andrea Carino will do a sound bath, beautiful sound bath during that moment. To move ourselves into that space, helping to regulate the breath and unify the room, we'll sing another really old unity song, The Spirit and I Are One. These tunes, even if you don't consider yourself a singer or a good singer, that's why we do it in a group, so no one will know it's you. But I encourage you to use that vocalization anyway, because it really does incorporate, it activates your breath centers. And then when we do move into that deep sound soak space, you can get the most possible out of that moment. This room is also a beautiful space to hear. The sounds she produces will be in the air over your head. And a nice deep soak in there is important. If your phone's not already silenced, yeah, get on that. The Spirit and I are one. The Spirit and I are one. Are one, are one, are one, are one. The Spirit and I are one. Let's try that. The Spirit and I are one. The Spirit and I are one. Are one, are one, are one. The Spirit and I are one. The Spirit and I are one. The Spirit and I are one. Are one, are one, are one. The Spirit and I are one. And now let's listen to Andrea. The Spirit and I are one. The Spirit and I are one. Are one, are one, are one, are one. The Spirit and I
think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkle in the scene makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I've found some direction. It would sure be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life just to grow up. Time, be my friend. Let me start again. Suddenly my world has gone and changed its face, yet I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spin around in space, and yet I've watched it all grow. Living here in this brand new world might be a fantasy, but it's taught me to love, so it's real, real, real for me. And I've learned if we look inside ourselves to find a world full of love like yours, like mine, like home.
Well, hello again. So I'm super excited and grateful to be here with you all, whether you're here in the room, joining online, listening and watching later at some later date. So, hey, we're celebrating my ordination. Yay! So this morning, as part of my talk, I want to share a little bit of my journey on this ministerial path, my call to ministry, kind of my credo, which I'll talk about more, through the lens of unity roots. And for me, that makes a lot of sense because I grew up in unity. And so really unity's been this thread through my entire life. And so I've formally been on this ministerial path the last 5 years, this dual path of the education program and the ministerial program. But my call to ministry really started in childhood. So from the very earliest age, as soon as I could talk, my mom and I would have these really deep discussions. Wherever she was, I'd go running into the room and I'd say, let's talk about God. Or let's talk about prayer or consciousness or human spirit or spiritual consciousness. And so she had started going to Unity when I was born. And so growing up, it was like we were discovering unity together. And it was such an incredible and rich gift. And I never took it for granted then, and I've never taken it for granted because I know that not everybody has that kind of experience and those kinds of roots, unity roots, and then to be able to share that so closely with my mom as well. And so there was always a lot of great questions going on, and we were reading books together, and we were taking classes and attending workshops. And so I'd always have these questions, and I love a great question. Anybody else love a great question? And my definition of a great question, one component is that it's unanswerable. It's the kind of question that stretches you and stumps you and challenges you and grows you, and maybe even evolves over time. A great question to me is those type of questions that really just open a door, and then you enter into that searching and that quest. And so the question is really just a doorway. And so when I was a preteen, it was maybe age 11 or 12, one of these great unanswerable questions surfaced from within me. And remember, this is in the context of, reading a lot of Unity teachers, New Thought teachers, and authors. And this question that surfaced was, how do we fully step into all that we are as this magnificent spiritual being that every single person is, every single one of you, every one of us, fully embrace and live and express our Christ consciousness, our divinity, all that we are, our I am nature, without our human ego getting in the way? So this was the question that surfaced for me, and it was, percolating inside. And at that time, it was actually a question out of separation consciousness, which I wouldn't realize until later down the road, and I'll talk more about that. But it was also one of those unanswerable questions, but still I wanted an answer. So I go to one of my best spiritual buddies, my mom, and I ask her this question. And I don't remember anything else she says except this: that sounds like a great question to ask Reverend Leila, our San Leandro Unity minister. And so, of course, I went and I asked Reverend Leila. No idea what she said. Because, again, it wasn't something that someone else could answer. It was really just this doorway of searching. And for me, at the heart of it, which has always been this lifelong theme and really is a foundation in my credo, which is what do I believe in my ministry and what my purpose is around how do we fully embrace all that we are as a human and spiritual being and this divine marriage, and how do we integrate those? But at that time, it was this separation. It was the ego, the human being in tension with all that we are as a spiritual being. And so there was this journey that needed to happen. And at that same time, as is what happens with most people around preteens going into teenage years, started thinking about, well, what's next? After high school and careers and ministry was on my mind. It was in my heart at that time. So ministry and psychology, I was passionate about it. I was interested in going down that path. I was also interested in about a dozen other careers, so I had no problem coming up with options. And as a good Unity Truth student, I leaned into my roots, and I actually was using prayer and meditation at that time. And so I listened, and I prayed on it, and I listened, and the guidance that led me in a different direction. So I entered undergraduate school in an engineering program. And I was so clear and so intentional about that, and I have no regrets about it. Heck, it's really helped me during this building project, by the way. There's a certain divine order in that, right? And so all along the path, whenever there's been these major life decisions, at other times too, but these choice points, I've leaned into my Unity roots, listening within, going into prayer, going into meditation. And I was looking back, as part of the ministerial path, you have to do 1 or 2 progress interviews each year. So in a progress interview, you're in front of teams of ministers, so multiple teams of multiple ministers. And the first 5 to 7 minutes, you're supposed to give a 5 to 7 minute talk, and then the remainder, they can ask you questions on 36 different topic areas to make sure you're progressing adequately. And so the very first progress interview, your talk is your call to ministry. And the very last progress interview, your talk is your credo talk. It's about what do you believe? What's your ministry about, your purpose? What do you believe? And so this call to ministry had begun at childhood, and I truly would revisit this idea of ministry about every 5 years, and certainly at every choice point. So it was always there, it was always present with me. And I remember my choice to go in the Peace Corps, my choice of a major in a college, always was first entered into through prayer and looking for that guidance and asking for that guidance. And when I entered into engineering, I even had the conscious thought, well, I'm going to do this for like maybe 5-10 years at the most, and then I'm going to go do all these other things that I want to do because, right, I had this long list. And so actually when I hit about year 5, and I had also gone to graduate school, which was crazy, but, you know, got a graduate engineering degree. So at year 5 in engineering, after doing that work in project management, I said, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. And so a new question arose. This one was answerable, and that question was, what's next? What's calling to me? And I was really passionate still about being of service to people. I love people. I wanted to do something in that realm of mind, body, spirit. So, of course, my intellect immediately my mind went to ministry or psychology. It's obvious. But again, being a good Unity Truth student and leaning into my Unity roots, I took it into prayer and deep listening and meditation. And to my surprise, I got a different answer. The answer came back really clearly, start with the body. And in hindsight, I can see the wisdom of it. In that moment, I trusted it because the quality of the guidance I knew at that point. I'd been kind of working these practices long enough to know that this was my soul guiding me. This was soul wisdom. And so I trusted it. However, my intellect didn't want to totally let go. Anyone else ever experienced that? So I had this insane, I don't even know how I thought this could happen in the moment. But anyways, my crazy brain told me, well, that's okay. You'll just do 3 programs at once while doing a full-time job. You just do it all. You just make it all work at the same time. Well, fortunately, that fell by the wayside very fast. And I was able to just really delve into the body work. And I went to massage school, and the entire time I was going to massage school, I was like, but I don't want to be a massage therapist. But I trusted my guidance, so I'm following this path. And once I was in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, it is so clear. And I fell in love with massage. I fell in love with everything about the body. I started doing cranial sacral. I studied Chinese medicine. I fell in love with all of it and still love that work. And it's beautiful work. Now, something that it seems obvious, but I'm just going to kind of call it out, is if you're studying body work, you actually have to receive a lot of body work. And so you actually kind of have to go through your own healing process. It's unavoidable. So as I was in the midst of this, of course, there was physical and mental healing, but there was also spiritual depth and awareness that came. And that was what I was surprised by. Because it was only in hindsight that I saw that I'd sort of gotten stalled on my spiritual path because I had these physical, emotional kind of obstacles that needed to be healed. And this also brought me back to my Unity roots as well, because the co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, yes, they would talk about different aspects of ourself, and our prayers are about usually different aspects. So it's usually about physical healing or guidance or focus on our thoughts and mental activity. Yet there was always this awareness of wholeness and us being an integrated being. And I saw this come together through this path in body work. And I love how Myrtle Fillmore says it here in her healing letters. She says, daily, declare that your spiritual life and world, your mental life and world, and your physical life and world are unified, that you are expressing harmoniously the ideas of Christ's mind on all of these planes. So at its heart, the unity movement has always been an integrative movement. It's always been holistic. It's always about the body, mind, spirit, emotions, and all of us and all aspects of us. And for me, that has also been this beautiful container to look at our humanity and divinity, all that we are as a human being and a spiritual being, and how do we marry these together, this divine marriage. And so as I mentioned, our last talk in our progress interviews is our Credo talk. And we actually had a Credo class that was 10 weeks in our last year. And so we had an opportunity to dive deep into early influences and to be able to look at those things that kind of shaped our belief systems and what changed through the ministerial program or what didn't change or got reinforced. And a lot of those great deep questions, some of them unanswerable. And it was during that process that this question that had started early on out of separation consciousness about how do we fully step into all that we are as spiritual beings without our human ego getting in the way. The question evolved more to how do we fully integrate all that we are as human beings and spiritual beings? How do we fully step into that to be fully present to everything that's happening in our human experience right now in this moment, and still call forth the bright light that each and every one of us is. And this, I believe, is our really powerful sacred work that we're called to, especially on this planet right now. Because we can look around and see so much darkness, but there's also so much light. And so let us not lose track of the light and the brilliance in every single soul in the midst of whatever human challenges we might be walking through individually and collectively. Charles Fillmore in Ministries of John said this about this dance between our human and spiritual nature. The merging of God and humankind does not mean the total obliteration of humankind's consciousness, but its glorification and expansion into that of the divine. Not an elimination, but an expansion and integration. And that is what we're called to. You know, this word humanity is very interesting to me. Of course, it means kind of the collective, all people on the planet. But it also means our highest qualities. So when people are showing their humanity, they're acting with kindness and compassion and generosity. To show your humanity is to allow the greatest qualities to come through. And in Genesis 1:27, we hear that God created humankind in God's image. Humankind, all of us. So we carry that spiritual nature with us always. And so my question for you is, what do you believe about your human and spiritual natures? All that you are as a human being, all that you are is this incredible, magnificent, divine spiritual presence walking this planet. And what does your daily life look like if you step into this and see this in every single other person, including the ones that feel challenging? Nobody else has any challenging individuals in your life, right? And that's our work, is how do we hold in balance this incredible spirit and divinity, acknowledging what we're feeling, not ignoring it, noticing our emotions, noticing personality, behaviors, all of that, but at the same time holding that this is a part of God. This soul in front of me is a part of God. This person is also part of the oneness that exists. And so I just want to, in closing, kind of just take a moment in prayer. And so I just invite us to take a breath, and with that breath, just centering down into our heart. So we give ourselves the gift of just listening deeply. Now in this moment, and hopefully throughout the week, creating those spaces to listen for the deeper questions. And my prayer for all of you is that you might have a few unanswerable questions, great unanswerable questions that surface, that are doorways into a more expansive, integrative, whole way of being. And so we listen to that wise, wise self, that wise spirit that lives in us and through us and all around us at all times, listening for what is ours to do, and listening for how we are called to be in this moment, in this day, in this year, in this life. May we each go forth in our brilliance, fully human, fully divine, bringing all of who we are into every encounter, every moment. And many blessings. Amen.
This song is by Pharrell Williams. I invite you to snap. Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Who cares what they see? Who cares what they know? Your first name is free. Your last name is dumb. We choose to believe in where we're from. The fields and the flowers, it's in every living thing. Mind, use your power. Spirit, use your wings. Freedom. Hold on to me. Don't let me go. Cheetahs need to eat. The roots need to grow. Your first name is King. Your last name is Don. 'Cause you still believe in everyone. When a baby first breathes, when night sees the sunrise, when the whale hunts the sea, when men recognize freedom. Freedom.
So we come to that time in our service where we share our tithes and our love offerings. And so if you're giving cash or check, there is a box on the counter that you can leave that in. And another way to give is through texting, which is so easy. And the number again is on the screen, which is 206-350-8448. Remember, however you give, we are grateful for your generosity and for your support. So let us bless our offering. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly Knowing that God is the constant source of my supply, I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. And so we do dedicate and consecrate these gifts to the will, the work, and the way of the living Spirit of truth. And so we remain in this consciousness of prayer and of light. And so I invite you to send your love and blessings to Gary and to Pat, to the Kimbra family, to Julie and Betty, to Olna. I invite you to recenter yourselves and bless all those who are affected by gun violence, by the Ukraine. We bless Becky and Sandra, David and Anthony. And if anyone else comes to mind, any place comes to mind, please speak it silently or aloud. So may these names that we have spoken, may these people and places that we have held in our hearts, we know that these prayers go forth, and may they be received with the spirit in which they have been given. So together we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And there are chaplains to pray with you. Colleen Hart and Susan Waldron will meet you on this side of the room. If you need prayer, please stay afterwards.
And I'd like to thank you all for being such an engaging part of the service. Each one of us gives of ourselves each time we're here. And that's whether or not you're at home or viewing remotely or later. So thank you. I'm going to introduce a song that is really an old song too. It's by Rosemary Crow, and it's Weave. And there's no more perfect description than this integrating ourselves as all of who we are, our humanity and our divinity, and now we weave together each other as our diversity and uniqueness makes us actually stronger and more sustainable as that forest, that virtual forest that we're building.
Yes, stand.
Stand as you're able. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together.
Weave us together, together in love. And some of you will be holding hands, and that's cool as long as you get consent. But once that starts happening, you'll feel the sway back and forth, and that's that visual forest imagery, and the grass is that kind of imagery that we have together, as though we're woven. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love. Weave, 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 weave us together. Weave us together in unity and love. Weave, weave, weave us together. Weave us together, together in love.
And please join us for cake following the service.